Welcome to this online recording classes. Today I'm going to talking on the concept of information security in an organization. So I think we know that the security plays a major role for for storing information in secure manner. So first of all, just I'm going to define what is security. Normally, simply we can call it as it's a free from danger. Simply we call it as a security. So that the quality, or if you are defining as a security as the quality or state or being secure to be free from a danger. Or simply we call it as a protections against advertisers from those who would be calm or intentionally or otherwise. It will be called as a security. So normally the security will be have a different type of securities plays a major role here. So the different types of our physical security. The next one is the personal security, operational security, communication security, network security, and information security. Let's we discuss one by one. One is physical security. The physical security is defined as the production of physical items or objects or areas from unauthorized access and misuse. So normally for every organization, it may be related to IT organization, or it may be for any kind of an organization. So the physical security plays a major role. The physical security means that we are going to protect on the physical equipments. It means we are looking on the secure for physical equipments. So it may be a physical equipments, or maybe the land, or whatever may be. For example, if I'm a one landowner, so I need to provide a security for that land, so that just I can going to follow different kind of security principles. So for covering that land, for making unauthorized access, and for misuse of those physical items. That is called physical security. So normally for every organization must be a concentration on physical security. And second one is called as personal security. So that normally the personal security is look on that the production of individuals or group of individuals who are authorized to access the organization and its operations. It means that security mainly to focus on your employee, means that the members, the persons, or maybe the employees who is working, or who have access permission to access those value. To access that assets of their organization, and assets or maybe the operations of the organizations is coming under personal security. And third one, that is called as operational security. The operational security means that we are going to give the productions on the particular operations which is performed in an organization. For example, if I'm working on machinery fields, that we are going to define some policies, or maybe that rules and regulations need to be followed for work with the machines. So for example, in a college, if you want to define that operation sequence, that the students must wear only that uniform in order to provide a different for saving the security. So for example, for girls, they are providing an overcoat in order to have a secure while working these kind of machines. So that the operational security, it defines the rules and regulations to make a secure while you are doing operations on that organization. But it varies, it depends on that organization. And the next one is called communication security. So actually that communication security means that we are going to do some different kind of rules and regulations for saving that information while you are going to make a communication. For example, if you want to share some information to others, so I need to provide like a confidential. There are the different kind of characteristics we need to follow, like confidentiality, integrity, availability, and non-repetition. So these are all some of the basic characteristics we need the basic characteristics need to be supported while you are going to make a secure in a communication environment. So that also we are trying to follow the constants of encryption, decryption methods in order to provide that confidentiality, and also we are providing different kind of digital standards to provide a security for communication medias. And the next one is the network security. So the network security provides the productions of networking components and the connections and the contents. And the last and very, very important, that is called information security. So I think we know that, so the data or information is the major asset for every organization. That information security to define that the production of information we are going to product a different kind of informations, and we are going to make a focus then on critical elements of those elements including the systems, hardware, and where we are going to use and where you are going to store, and the procedure for transmitting the information. So here the information security is mainly to focus on the elements of that information and the way you are going to use the information and the way you are going to store and we are going to transmit. It mainly to focus on all these areas. So here in this subject, we are mainly to focus on how we are going to secure an information. Secure an information in an organization. Means I am going to talking about the different kind of the possible threats and attacks, and along with the different kind of security measures you are going to provide in order to reduce the impact of this security issues. Okay, so the next one is just I'm going to talking on CA triangle. That means that this is a very basic 3 important characteristics of a security. So it will be defined for a securing an information by NSTISSC. That is a standard. That is an organization defined these 3 important characteristics. One is called confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And so we know that if you want to secure any data in an organization, so there are different constant problems always to associated with our information. One is called as accidental or intentional or damage. For example, if I feel that some informations need to be secure, but unfortunately, while I'm speaking with someone outside a person, unauthorized person, while speaking, unintentionally, maybe I can use that secure informations in outside, and that is called as accidental damage. Or maybe intentionally, I want to share some information to someone. I'm sharing to someone to that. About that organization information. So this is the constant danger to us. And second one, destruction, try to destroying that information and trying to theft the information, and we are misuse of information and changes, the unauthorized modification. These are all some of the common threats to be associated with this information security. So the main objective of this subject is just we are going to cover how to control these kind of different kind of threats while you are going to providing information security for the content. Okay, so next we move on to the next important. So just I am going to talking on the different characteristics of information which is we are going to follow for main storing, for providing a security. So that the first thing is. So according to the CA triangle, there are different type of characteristics are defined. One is availability, second one is accuracy, and third one is authenticity, and fourth one is confidentiality. Next one integrity, utility, and position. So totally there are 6 characteristics, important characteristics to be followed. One is availability, accuracy, authenticity, confidentiality, integrity, utility, and position. So the first one is called availability. So availability means that the information which is available to the user, means those who want to access the value from, access that information from that organization. So that this availability always to enables the authorized user or the person to access the information without interference or without obstruction and to receive in the required format. This is called as availability. Okay, so next one is called as an accuracy. So accuracy is defined as the information as accuracy when it is free from mistake. Means that the information which is present in the side of the secondary storage device have an accurate value. Means it is a free from mistakes or it's a free from errors. Then it means that those value play a major role and also to play a value to the users, those who are expected those values. So that is called accuracy. So that for every information which is present in that organization must to be an accurate. And the third one is called authenticity. So authenticity means we are going to give our rights to access the value for value. So normally for the employees who have access and also the user have a permission. So that we are going to provide a access permission for users and as well as employees. But here we can't say that the authenticity for all employees. It maybe can change anytime. So that means that according to the responsibility, the accessing of this information may change. So that the authenticity will be defined as, so the authenticity of information is the quality or a state of being genuine. That means that you are as a genuine user or original. So rather than the reproduction or fabrication, you should not be a fabricator. It should be, means that the fabricated user cannot use that. Only that authenticated users can able to access those informations. So for that, we are going to provide a different kind of authentication mechanisms. It may be in the form of username and password, or maybe in the form of biometrics, or maybe in the form of fingerprint authentication. So there are a different kind of authentication mechanisms we are going to provide for providing a authenticity. Next one, it is a confidentiality. So the confidentiality is defined as is a disclosure when the discovery or exposure to the unauthorized individual or systems is prevented. It means that the confidentiality means that the information cannot be accessed to the unauthorized individuals. So that others cannot know what is the secure information to the outside world. So that there are different possible ways we are going to measure about the confidentiality based on the classification and based on your storage classification and based on the policy and the way you are going to give the education to the employees. And also this is a term which is related to the privacy. One simple example which is theft which is related to that confidentiality, one is called as salami theft, means that we are going to say the series of attack and together result of it the major damage, it is called as salami theft. And the next we are going to talk on integrity. So integrity is also a major important characteristics of your information. Means that that information must be whole and also it must be complete and uncorrupted. It is called as integrity. And the next one is that is a utility. The utility means that the quality or state of having value for some purpose. It means that the information which is available in the organization have some special purpose, then those information need to be secured. So that the utility play a major role, so that the information has a special value, it's a special purpose to play a special role in an organization. And the next one is called as a possession. The possession of the information is the quality or a state of ownership or control of some item or object, which is called as a possession. Possession simply called as a control. So that the information, every information have some ownership, so that we are going to maintain those states of your control. That is called as possession. So these are the some of the important characteristics need to be considered while you are going to store any information in an organization. I repeat once again. So there are different characteristics to be maintained. One is called as the first one is called as availability. The information must be available to the authorized user. Second one, accuracy. The information must be accurate. The information must be accurate and also that free from mistakes. And the third one is called as authenticity. It means only the authenticated user can able to access the information. And the confidentiality. So the confidentiality means that we can't disclose any information to unauthorized users. So that we need to provide a different kind of security procedures like encryption, decryption methods and all. And the next one is called integrity. It means a whole, complete and uncorrupted. And the utility, it has some special value. And the possession means that the information, the quality of state of information to be controlled. And in order to avoid that unauthorized modification of information, so it's coming under a possession. So these are the important characteristics that need to be maintained for your information. And the next one is called as, I'm going to talking about the standard which is suggested by NSTISSC, that is called a National Security Telecommunication and Information System Security Committee. So it is the standard, this is a committee which is provided some set of standards for information security. So it also will be called as a Macumber Q because it is invented by Macumber in the year of 1991. So this is the model will be referred as NIST number 4001. So that it provides the different views. That's it provides a 27 dimensions for securing an information in an organization. So that it provides a graphical representation of architecture approach for computer security. So see here, so this is the diagrammatic representation for this NSTISSC. That is NSTISSC will be defined, it will be as abbreviated as National Security Telecommunications and Information System Security Committee. So the different properties are, the different directions. One is called confidentiality, and next one is integrity, and third one is availability. So this is a focus on the characteristics. And the next one is that the availability of information, based on the availability of information, storage, processing, and transmission. Another one, viewers, the based on the way you are going to apply, we are going to apply different kind of a policy, education, and you are going to provide the different kind of a technology. So these are the different views we need to follow while you are going to saving an information. So now one mainly focus on characteristics, another one is focus on the storage, another one focus on where, means the way we are going to provide a solutions. So totally there are it is a Macumbo cube, so that it consists of 3 cross 3 cross 3. So that there are the 27 dimensions we need to follow for securing an information. So let us think about this cube. Consider about this 1, 1. So that so I need to follow that procedure standard only to focus on availability and storage. And here it will be called an integrity and storage. We are going to provide how we are going to provide that integrity for while you are going to storing an information, say for confidentiality. So that there are 27 dimensions that we have, so that we need to give a focus on different dimensions. And one way we need to concentration on all these areas, so that in this area just we can provide a solutions for all these 23 dimensions. So maybe it will be combination of any 2 dimensions, or maybe combination of all 3 dimensions come together for providing the solutions. Okay, next I will move on to that components of information system. Actually, we know that if you want to have if we have some information we have, so we need to know what are the different ways we are going to collect the informations. So that here the information system is much more than your computer hardware. So that there are 6 critical components we have to enable that information act as an input, and it will be processed and will be stored. So the different each and every component have their own weakness and as well as a strength. So the different components are like software, hardware, data, people, network, and procedures. I will repeat once again. There are 6 major components will be for information system. It will be created by either software or hardware, data, people, procedure, and networks. I move on to the first component. It will be called as a software. And the main goal of your software is you are going to product your software components with the help of this standard NSD-ISSC standard. So here that just you can assume that the software programs will be considered as a vessels. So that this is software to hold your information. This is the lifeblood of information through an organization. So that there are 2 type of classes we have for the computer software. It may be a system software and application software. So the system software like as operating systems, so that it will be control your entire hardware, and for containing all the information storage. And application software, it contains the user information. So compared to the OS, we are going to provide a major security focus on these application programs. So that the management of the software programming, there is if there is an error in a program information, will be called as the portion of attacks. So that attack means that it is an unplanned activity and we are trying to hack the information, then it will be called as an attack. So that always the software having a possibility of attack. And the next one is called a hardware. So hardware means that we are going to need to product the physical components of an organization. So we are going to, that means that the hardware means that it is a physical technology that executes the software, and it allows stores and carries the data and provides the interface for entry and removal of information from the system. So that physical security policy, so we already know that we are going to provide a different kind of policy and standard in order to implement the security in our organization. So that we are going to provide a physical security policies for hardware as a physical assets, and with the production of these physical assets to be theft. Normally the software have to have problem of attack, and the hardware have the problem of theft. Okay, and very important that the most of the information systems are built in hardware platforms. Next one, data. So the data means the processing information will be called as data, and also we need to provide, there is a possibility of getting attack for those data. So even not only for while transmission, and also the data need to be protected while storing, while processing, and as well transmission. All these areas the data need to be protected, and the data is an important resources for any organization. But normally for every attacker or maybe every threat, the reason behind that is data. So the data play a vital role, so that for every organization, so that every organization must to protect all those informations. and next one is the people. So that the people means means that there are different kind of people, and there are different kind of responsibility to be assigned for that means the people which is present in their organization. If I have a user, I have only the limited capacity. I'm an employee, I have only limited capacity. I'm a manager, I have a different capacity. So so that we need to protect the information from the different people for avoiding the problem of damage or loss. So we know that the people is always being a main threat for your security. We must to differentiate the difference between threat and attack. That means that it is always the constant problem which is associated with the replication, and attack means that unplanned activity, but there is a possibility to get the information from your secure organization. So that there are a different, due to this reason, for these reasons only we are saying that the peoples are maybe the dangerous for a main threat for your organization information, because we don't have a proper policy implementation. That is a one loophole. And second one is we are unable to provide a proper type of education and as well as the training, and also we are not unable to provide a proper awareness and technology. So these are the some reasons that informations maybe feel as unprotected, and also that we are going to protect it. For that we are going to use some procedural standards. So with the help of the standards, we are to bring, we are avoiding the problem of unauthorized users. So the procedure means that it is a written instructions for implementing or maybe accomplishing the specific task. It is called as a procedures. So this procedure must spread it to all the employees in order to implement the particular task in an organization. If that organization, but also, we know that it is a written instruction, so that the organization must prevent all these procedures from unauthorized users. It is also very important thing. And the next thing is called a network. So we know that while you are sharing information, the major possibility of getting attacks. So that the main goal of this network is, for this component, we are going to provide a security for network components. So that we know that in an information system, if you are sharing information, the components are connected with each other. So that we need to provide a different kind of schemes we need to follow while you are going to product for informations. So some examples are intrusion and alarm and intrusion detection systems. For if there is an attack is possible, we are going to provide. So that is called as a networks. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talking about on securing a components. So we know that components contains a different kind of information. So that there are two possibility of attacks. The different type of attacks and based on the factors. So based on the factors, based on the type of information attacked, it will be classified as subject of attack, or maybe it is a object of attack. Actually, the subject of attack means that the entity, the information, by using some particular information, the attacks is happening, then it is called as a subject of attack. Or maybe object of attack means that we are mainly to focus on the particular information for attacking. So that is called as object of attack. Just once again recall that. So the subject of attack means that by using some information, we are trying to gather more information from that organization, and it is coming under subject of attack. And the object of attack means that we are focusing on to gain the particular information, but you don't have any idea about any organization of information, but you are trying to collect it. So that is coming under object of attack. And the next one is the based on the way the attack, based on the attack is happening, it will be called as a direct attack or maybe indirect attack. So direct attack means that the hacker uses his personal computer to break the system and trying to access the information. That is called using others' username, crack your username and password of other person and trying to hack it. And indirect attack means that without doing, indirectly you are going to get the informations. That is called indirect attack. Shoulder sharpening is one of the example for indirect attack. The next one is balancing the information security and access. So now we need to make a balance between this security and access. So if I have some security policies implemented, so that I need to make some balance on that. So that there are two type of approaches we are going to implement. Means that here that information security is a goal, but it is not a process, and as well as it is not an exact process. It will be upgradable and it will be changed depending on the growth, and that it mainly to focus on the production and as well as availability. So if you are going into too much production, the availability of the information is less. If you are going to concentration on availability, the production is very less, the security goes low. So that we need to make a balance between your production and as well as availability. And so that when we are going to provide this information security, so we need to satisfy the user, and the level of security must allow the access. Means at the same time, we need to satisfy all the users, and also we need to provide enough level of security for accessing informations. Depends on the responsibility, the information need to be accessed. Okay, so the next one is called for implementation of this security, there are different type of approaches to be followed. One is a top-down approach, and second one is called as a bottom-up approach. For a top-down approach, that is the top-level management. That means that, for example, if you consider above college, that a principal or that HOD of the respective department will be act as a top-down approach, so that those those members are defining some policy, procedures and processes, and specify the goals and the expected outcomes, and determine the accountability for required action. Means that assume that the organization, so that organization, I think we know that every organization have a own expectation, or maybe defined for a own purpose. So that we need to, means that the top level management should need to define that, define some policy, and as well as the procedures, and as well as your processes, in order to satisfy those outcomes. We know that every organization must have a vision, mission, and as well as strategic planning. So that vision means a short-term goal, and mission means it's a long-term goal. So that by defining a different kind of planning, strategic planning, in order to achieve your vision. So, here the top-level management need to be control all the information about the organization, and that here that the flow of information from a higher level to the subordinate, means, or maybe the different employees or the different personnel of an organization is defined by only the higher official. That is called upper level management. And all the complex and the secret information, if you are following this top-down method, all the secret informations are maintained by only the upper level management, so that only the few amount of information to be moved on to that low level subordinates. The next one is called as a bottom-up approach. Actually, in this bottom-up approach, that the individuals of organization must analyze and decide the information flow. For example, I am a faculty, so that I need to, even for me, there is a higher levels of that. So like head of the department and the principals. So here, based on the information, I need to analyze and decide that whether this information to be shared with someone or not. Clear? So that is called the bottom-up approach. So that here the information flow depends on the low level management of the organization. So that the individual employee of the organization must define this security policy. So that I have a security policy, so that I need to decide it based on my security policy. I have to implement and secure information. So here in this case, that the lower level management to define the security and some procedures and the processes and the outcomes for accountability of each required actions. So that here that highly information flow will take place, and so the main, the bottom approach will be used for key technical expectations. It means that the technical information need to be shared for all the employees, so that for sharing the technical information, the bottom up approach will be an applicable thing for sharing information. The next one, that is called system development life cycle. So we know that so if you want to do a layered approach for implementation security, we need to follow some kind of a security. So that there are 6 phases of security development life cycles we need to follow. One is called as, the first one is called as investigation phase. So in this investigation phase, the first of all, we must to define what is the scope and goals of that organization, and also scope and the scope of every information. Every organization information. And second one, we need to define the cost of that information, and also we need to identify what are the different kind of resources, different kind of a policy we have for a security purpose. That is called investigation phase. And the next one is called analysis phase. And so that analysis phase mainly to focus on assess your current system, and we are going to define what are the different type of requirements you need. And also we are going to identify if there is anything you want to change. You are going to collect the information required for proposed system. And the third one is called as a logical design phase. It is a layered approach. So that you are going to, means now we know that we have some idea about proposed system. And the next one is we are going to assess the current business needs, and based on that we are going to identify that application and as well as what are the type of information you need and what is the format you need. And the next one, for based on that we are going to provide a different kind of possible solutions for the problem. That is called logical designs. And the next one is called as a physical design phase. So in that physical design phase, here we have a multiple decisions, so that we are going to identify in which technology you are going to implement, and that means the platform which is going to implement. And next one is from a multiple set of solutions we are going to identify the best solution, and from that you are going to decide it whether you are going to do it own or maybe whether you are going to buy something in order to implement this methodology. And the next one is called as a physical design phase. You are going to develop it and you are going to train all the employees or maybe the users, and you are going to conduct a test and review it how much they have idea about that. And that is called implementation. And next one, a maintenance stage. That is, a maintenance stage is mainly focused on support and modify the system, and also based on that maintenance also we are going to provide a periodical testing to that the users and as well as the employees or organizations in order to utilize this system very effective. So this is the SDLC will be followed. So even in order to apply the security SDLC, only the small changes need to be added. In the investigation phase, it is a starting phase of your system. So here investigation, just we are going to define a scope or goal, estimates card. Also we are going to know about evaluate your existing resources. Along with that, we need to define EISP. That is called Enterprise Issue Specific Policy. It will support the mission and vision of an organization, and also it will be support your strategic policy, so that in an investigation phase the enterprise information security policy play a major role, so that it will support for and that is an information small correction, EISP is abbreviated as Enterprise Information Security Policy, so that it always to give an overview of this entire enterprises. And the next one is called as analysis phase. And that analysis phase, it is as usual thing. So in this analysis phase, we will mainly focus on your assessment of your current system. And if there is anything you want to change, so you are going to identify what are the needs you need, and you are going to collect the information about your proposed system. Along with that, we need to do a risk management. And the next one for logical design. In the logical designs, we are going to define a different kind of technology selection, and based on that also we need to find a different kind of a solution. Along with that, there is a different kind of a planning also we need to do. One is called continuity planning and incident planning and disaster planning, because here it is a focus on a security, so that other than the implementation we need to focus on these things in order to implement the security in your organization. And for the remaining phases are same for security SDLC also. So this is the way we are going to provide a security for an informations. So just I can recall it based on that syllabus, so that it is very easy for us to know that. So we know what is information security. So securing of all the components of informations from unauthorized access. So the different characteristics is called availability, authenticity, confidentiality, integrity, utility, possession, and also for accuracy also to be play a major roles. And for security model, it will be in a 3x3x3, that is called as a cube, but some cube by cube, so that there are three dimensions are focused. One is called CAA, that is called confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and also based on the way you are going to use storage, processing, and transmission. And also the different way are providing that information, that is follow the different kind of policy, technology, and as well as education. So these are the three dimensions we need to focus, so that to focus on 27 cubes. And for components, the different components of information systems is important. We must know one is hardware and software, data, people, people, network, and procedures. These are the components needed for information system. And for securing a components, we need to know what is the type of attack possible based on the information. One is called a subject of attack and object of attack, and based on the way that attack is happening, either to be classified as a direct or indirect attack. And balancing the security and access. So it is very, very important. We need to maintain the security and access because if you are mainly to concentration on security, the problem we are getting in accessing. So we are able to access only the few amount of information. And if you are mainly to concentration on access, there is a loopholes will be created on production. That is called insecurity. So that we need to make a balance between the both production and as well as access. And for SDLC, there are 6 steps need to be followed. And for security SDLC, there is some major updation to be needed for SDLC. So automatically we are getting security LCLC. So this is the way just we are going to concentrate, we are going to provide a security on information. So here in this unit, just we are going to concentration only on what are the different components you need, what are the different characteristics of information, and what is the procedure you are followed for securing information. Thank you.